Welcome back. All right, 13 games tonight in the National Hockey League. For a while there were so many goals happening so fast. It's just like every game there was goals at the same time. So A, I'm thankful for the modified reviews that I do now, and B, I did my best to keep up with what was going on. So we'll start things off with San Jose and Toronto, the Sharks and the Leafs. Nedeljkovic versus Hildeby in this one. With 8.5 minutes left, both teams had 6 shots, and I thought San Jose did their best to keep up with Toronto tonight. There was a penalty shot for Ty Dellandrea, the first of his career. That saved. So it stays scoreless until 14:33. Dakota Joshua tipping one in to make it 1-0 for Toronto. McCabe and Nylander with the assists. So that's 1-0 the score, and that's your score after one. Second period, the shots were 6-3 for Toronto at 7 minutes. And at 14:32 during a power play, it's a cross-ice pass and buried. Matthews with the goal from Nylander and Riley to make it 2-0 for the Toronto Maple Leafs. But just under a minute later at 15:31, Orlov scores. He roofs one short side from the left circle. Klingberg and Wenberg with the assists, so that makes it 2-1. That's your score after 40 minutes. In the third, Oliver Ekman-Larsson got shaken up behind the Leafs net. He needed help getting off the ice. We will know in the near future how long he's going to be out, but it did not look good. And Ekman-Larsson, as I mentioned in the preview this morning, the most the biggest point producer amongst the Leafs over the last month. The Sharks score. There's an offside challenge, so no goal, but they do get it back. Late in the game at 18:35, Klingberg scores from Celebrini and Wenberg. So 2 goals in the game thus far for San Jose, both from defensemen. Makes it 2-2. We're going to overtime. In the overtime, the Sharks scored. It was reviewed for a potential offside, but it counts. At 2:49, Wenberg scores from Eklund, making the final score 3-2 in overtime for San Jose, winning in Toronto. I would think Ryan Reeves was pretty happy about that. 3 stars are Wenberg, Nedeljkovic, and Hildeby. Shots on net, 11 apiece in the first, 14-8 Toronto in the second, 11-5 San Jose in the third, and they outshoot Toronto 2-0 in the overtime, including the shot that matters. Final shots, 32-30 for San Jose. Power plays, 0-2 for San Jose, 1-3 for Toronto. The hits, 22-19 for San Jose. Nedeljkovic, 28 saves on 30 shots. Hildeby, 29 saves on 32 shots. All right. Tampa and New Jersey. This game just, man, there was a point where I just basically was telling the TV, please stop. I'm trying to catch up. Johansson versus Markstrom, 2:57 in. Tampa would score. Paul wires one top corner glove side on a turnover from Sabourin. The turnovers for New Jersey are very worrying coming out of this game. At 3:48, it's a point shot pass to screen. Radish gets this one from Kucherov and Hagel. It's 2-0 for Tampa. And then New Jersey answers at 7 minutes. Luke Hughes buries one stick side on a net drive. Dillon and Cotter with the assists. But then 56 seconds later, Holmberg puts one through Markstrom. So not a fantastic goal for Markstrom there. The assist to Mosier and Gord. And that means that Jake Allen comes in. Jake Allen's welcome to the game at 15 minutes on the power play. Gensel buries a rebound on a power play that took 7 seconds to work. The assist to Bjorkstrand and Radish. We then had a fight between Sabourin and Dillon. Brendan Dillon trying to get his team going, but it's still 4-1 for Tampa after one. Second period, 6:19 in. It's a cross-ice pass and buried by Bjorkstrand. Gensel and Point with the assists. 5-1 score. Then at 13:12, the New Jersey Devils get that back. It's a power play marker for Bratt. He dekes out Johansson on a fast break. That's his first goal, I think, in 15 games. The assist to Nemitz and Nason. Then at 16:35, Tampa extends this lead again. Hagel buries a cross-ice pass. Kucherov and Carlisle with the assists. So we have ourselves a score of 6-2 in favor of Tampa after 2. Third period, 3:13 in. Cruikshank gets his first as a Devil. He scores this from White and Nemitz. I think that's his first as a Devil. It's first of the season. Then at 7:55, Point with a wrister from the slot scores. Kucherov and Mosier with the assists. And then later in the period, we get an exchange of goals. At 15:28, Cotter would score. Glass and Luke Hughes with the assists, but there's a power play and Tampa gets it back. Bjorkstrand from Gensel and Kucherov at 15:57. The final score 8-4. So the 80s magnets on the board. Of course, the tape with it says 1987 right on here. So 1987 mix. You all made mixtapes in the 80s, right? There's very few people watching this that made mixtapes in the 80s. I think you kids are missing out. It's not the same as a list on Spotify. It's just not. 3 stars, Point, Kucherov, and Hagel. Shots on net, 15 apiece in the first, 13-6 Tampa in the second, 16-7 New Jersey in the third. Final shots, 37-35 for the Devils. Power plays, Tampa 2 for 3. New Jersey 1 for 3. The hits, 32-15 New Jersey. Johansson saved 33 out of 37. Markstrom saved 4 out of 7. And then Allen saved 23 out of 28 in relief. So, rough night for New Jersey. Next up, the Anaheim Ducks and the New York Islanders. Husso versus Riddick, an 8-18 in. Mitchell, it's on a bounce off the boards. He puts it in for his first NHL goal. The assist to Mayfield and Duclair. And then on a power play a little over 2 minutes later at 10:15, it's a point shot tipped in by Anders Lee, DeAngelo, and Holmstrom with the assists. In the last minute of the period, the Islanders add to the lead. At 19:06, Lee buries his own rebound and close for his second goal of the period. DeAngelo and Barzal with the assists. It's 3-0 for New York. That's your score through 1. In the second period, we just have 1 goal to report on. At 5:34, Carlson roofs one far corner on a rush during a 4-on-4. Terry and Zellweger with the assists. So that would be all of the scoring in the second period, meaning it's 3-1 going into the third. In the third period, the Islanders would get a relatively early power play, and there's a relatively early shorthanded goal by Anaheim during that. Terry scores this one from Paling and Lacombe at 2:37, and then, more importantly, the Ducks do finish the kill. This is right around where they announced Horvat, who got hurt earlier in the game, won't return. So we'll see what his status is, as well as every team's dealing with injuries. Then at 6:06, Holmstrom scores from Lee and Pelech, so Lee gets an assist to go with his 2 goals. And at 14:46, it's an insurance goal. Pelech gets this one from Pajot and Lee, making the score 5-2, and that would be your final. 3 stars in this one, Lee, Holmstrom, and Riddick. Shots on net, 13-12 Anaheim in the first, 15-10 Anaheim in the second, 13-10 Islanders in the first, 13-12 in the first. I need to read this. Let me do this. I'll do it. I'll get there. 13-12 Anaheim. No, 13-12 Islanders in the first, 15-10 Islanders in the second, 11-9 Anaheim in the third. It's the only period they outshot the Islanders, no matter what my mouth tells you. Shots on net ended up being 37-33 for the Islanders. Power plays Anaheim 0 for 1. The Islanders 2 for 4. The hits 20-15 for the Islanders. Husso saved 32 out of 37. Riddick saved 31 out of 33. All right, next up, the Vegas Golden Knights and the Philadelphia Flyers. Schmid versus Vladar, and 6:07 in. Vegas opens the scoring. White Cloud dekes around Vladar and buries it. Barbashev and Bowman with the assists, so we have a 1-0 lead for the Vegas Golden Knights. Shots were 5-2 for Vegas with 5 minutes left. Philadelphia's not got much going, but at 16:11, Zegras buries a net feed to tie the game at 1. The assist to Sanheim and Dvorak, and that would be your score through 1 period. Second period starts with 1 minute and 44 seconds left in the Flyers power play, which Vegas kills off, no shots allowed. Then they get a power play, and at 12:53, Stone buries a rebound from the doorstep. Dorofeev with the assist makes it 2-1 in favor of Vegas, but Philadelphia would get it back. Late in the period at 16:08, it's a one-timer from the left circle by Noah Juleson. The assist to Dvorak and Grundstrom ties the game at 2, so that's the score as we go to the third period. In the third, with 4:48 left, the Flyers get a power play. Vegas kills that off. We end up going to overtime. In the overtime, at 2:47, Mark Stone would score, Jack Eichel with the assist. Vegas ends up coming out of Philadelphia with a 3-2 overtime win. I will say this for Philly, they held their own. 3 stars are Stone, Dvorak, and Juleson. Shots on net, each team had 5 in the first, each team had 9 in the second, each team had 5 in the third, and Vegas had 2 shots in the overtime, including the shot that matters. Final shots are 21-19 for Vegas. Power plays 1 for 2 for Vegas, 0 for 3 for Philly. The hits 25-23 for Philadelphia. Schmid, 17 saves on 19 shots. Vladar, 18 saves on 21 shots. And this does show that Vegas, who were struggling with overtime earlier in the season, seem to be figuring that out. Okay, next up, Montreal and Pittsburgh. So Fowler versus Jarry, and I felt bad for Fowler before the game because they mentioned how there were 3 other goaltenders for Montreal that had made their debut against the Pittsburgh Penguins, and they were Ken Dryden, Patrick Waugh, and Carey Price. And I thought, what a way to set this up. Anyways, at 2:52, from the distance on a turnover, Alex Texier scores, makes it 1-0 Montreal, and that goal holds all the way through the end of the first period. 1-0 Montreal. Second period at 4:37, Gallagher puts one in from the left circle via a 3-on-2 rush. The assist to Hudson and Slafkovsky. So Montreal has themselves a 2-0 lead in Pittsburgh. Then at 10:18 during a power play, Caulfield, smart move here. He banks it in off of Jari from behind the goal line. So Jari just didn't quite have himself closed off there. The assist to Suzuki and Hudson. It is a 3-0 lead for Montreal in Pittsburgh. The review also review later on in the period confirms that the Penguins didn't score on a play where they were reviewing it. Puck never crossed the line. Beck scores his first NHL goal. However, it's taken back for an offside. So Beck does not get his first goal tonight. But usually when a player has it taken back, they'll get it. So we go to the third period with the score 3-0. But at 44 seconds, Brian Rust makes it 3-1. The assist to Crosby and Novak. And then while they're announcing that goal, Montreal scores again. At 59 seconds, it's Kapanen from Slafkovsky and Demidov. So this is one of those times where there was a whole bunch of goals happening at the same time. I went to this game and I went, wait, there were 2 goals already? And yes, there were. So we get 25 seconds of a 5-on-3 for Pittsburgh. Everything gets killed off there. With 5:10 left, the Penguins get a power play, so they make it a 6-on-4. They do score during the 6-on-4. At 15:07, it's Carlson with a point shot pass to screen. Letang and Rust with the assist. So with that power play goal, it's now 4-2. Fowler absolutely prevented a Habs meltdown. The Habs did their best to allow Pittsburgh to get at least another goal, and Fowler just flat out refused. Almost kind of rude, but also very impressive. So he does win his first game in the NHL against the Penguins. In his debut against the Penguins, the same as Dryden, Raw, and Price. So there you go. Fowler, Cup, and Price tried. Price didn't play on a Montreal team that was good enough for a Stanley Cup, but he sure as heck tried to get them there. Raw and Dryden, both multiple cups with the Montreal Canadiens. There you go. Montreal's going to win a Stanley Cup soon. Your 3 stars are Fowler, Kapanen, and Rust. Shots on net, 9-4 Montreal in the first, 16-11 Pittsburgh in the second, 18-9 Pittsburgh in the third. Final shots, 38-29 for the Penguins. Power plays, 1 for 3 for Montreal, 1 for 6 for Pittsburgh. The hits, 25-12 for Pittsburgh. Fowler saves 36 out of 38. Jari saved 25 out of 29. So it's just Fowler's first game. You don't want to overreact, but he's clearly going to be a Hall of Famer. All right, next up, Carolina and Washington. So it's Bussy versus Thompson. Shots are 7-3 for the Canes with 9 minutes left. I thought they controlled large swaths of that first period. And Thompson did his best to make sure that Washington wasn't behind, which they weren't. There's no score after 1. Second period starts with 55 seconds left in a power play for Carolina. That's killed off. And then at 5 minutes, McMichael goes backhand 5-hole on a fast break to open the scoring for Washington. The assist to Ovechkin and Sandin. We then had a post for Stankoven, so close to getting on the board. And then at 13:41, Ehlers buries one far corner from in close. Stankoven and Nikishin with the assists. It's a 1-1 tie. That's your score after 2. Third period, 11:32 in. So after the halfway mark, Nick Dowd, who can score. He's had goals before. Dowd scores from Sandin and McMichael. So it makes it 2-1 for Washington, but Carolina would get that back. At 17:45, Stankoven rifles at top corner as the goalie's leaving the net, so it's not technically 6-on. I don't think it was technically 6-on-5 yet. The assist to Ehlers and Chatfield. So we have ourselves a 2-2 tie. We're going to overtime. Overtime was controlled by Washington, but they weren't able to get that goal. And so we go to the shootout. In the shootout, Jarvis gets the winner because it's Seth Jarvis. That's the rule. So it's a 3-2 shootout victory for Carolina. Your 3 stars are Ehlers, Bussy, and McMichael. Bussy becomes, I think they said, the first goalie in NHL history to record 10 wins in his first 11 decisions. Not too bad. Shots on net, 13-4 Carolina in the first, 16-5 Carolina in the second, 13-10 Washington in the third. In the overtime, Washington had all 3 shots. Final shots, 39-25 for Carolina. Power plays, the Canes 0 for 2, Washington 0 for 1. The hits, 29-21 for Carolina. Bussy saves 23 out of 25. Thompson, 37 saves on 39 shots. I'm really surprised he's not one of the 3 stars. That being said, let's go ahead and change boards. All right, let us discuss the Ottawa Senators and the Columbus Blue Jackets. So it's Ullmark versus Merzlikins in this one. 6:58 in. Perron puts one through Merzlikins from in close. Cousins and Batherson with the assists. And a little over a minute later, at 8 minutes and 11 seconds, Batherson goes short side from the right circle. That was only the 3rd shot on net for Ottawa. The assist to Perron and Cousins. Ottawa would get a power play. They would score on it at 14:55. Stützle with a wrister from the left circle. It wasn't a great shot. The assist to Batherson and Cousins. So that ends the night for Elvis. As Merzlikins comes out and Greaves goes in the net, they appeared to give a Bronx cheer to Merzlikins. I thought they seemed entirely too happy that Greaves was coming in. I kind of get it, but still, I don't know. At any rate, it's 3-0, and then at 18:04, not long after the switch in net, Jenner, on a net drive off a turnover, he ends up scoring from Fantilli and Werenski. That goal was originally credited to Fantilli. It's been changed to Jenner. Then at 19:26, so in the final minute, not too long after it becomes 3-1, it becomes 4-1. Amadio, and I said in the preview he was due for a goal. It's a backhand from the doorstep. Giroux and Gregg with the assists makes it 4-1. That's your score through the first period. In the second, early in the second at 3:02, Fabro with a point shot that's roofed past a screen. Jenner and Johnson with the assists, so that makes it 4-2. And then on the power play at 8 minutes and 10 seconds, Voronkov buries a net feed. Marchenko and Werenski with the assists. Columbus is in business. It's 4-3. Late in the period, though, at 17:59, it's a loose puck that's deflected in by Columbus. Stützle gets the goal. I haven't looked to see if the assist got taken off because Columbus kind of buried it in their own net. It might show as an own goal. How many goals does it show that he's allowed? Yeah, that had to have been changed to an own goal because... Nope, because that's an empty... Okay, so 2. Yeah, they still counted as a goal for Ottawa. I'm surprised it's not listed as an own goal. Amadio and Zub with the assist, so at 17:59, it becomes 5-3 in favor of the Ottawa Senators. Late in the game, of course, you got to pull the goaltender. You're down by 2, and Giroux hits the empty net from Amadio at 18:37. How is Amadio not one of the 3 stars? He had a goal and 2 assists tonight. Anyways, your 3 stars are Stützle, Batherson, and Boone Jenner. Shots on net, 9-7 Columbus in the first, 12-11 Ottawa in the second, 10-6 Ottawa in the third. Final shots, 29-26 for the Senators. Power plays, Ottawa 1 for 2. Columbus scored on the only power play they had. Hits, 23-18 for Columbus. Olmark, 23 saves on 26 shots. Merzlikins, 2 saves on 5 shots. Not a great night. And Greaves saved 21 out of 23 in relief. So, yeah, Elvis had himself a rough evening. We know Greaves is the starter, so it's telling us what we know. St. Louis and Nashville. Bennington versus Saros. The shots were 3 apiece at 6.5 minutes, and I thought, pretty evenly played so far. Not for long. At 8:22, Stamkos buries his own rebound via a 2-on-1 rush. Wood and Svechkov with the assists. And then at 11:19, Stamkos doubles the goals on the night for himself, too. Yossi and Perbix with the assists. So we have a 2-0 lead. That's your score through 1. Now, to start the second period, there's 2:16 left in a Predators power play. It was a double minor that was being killed off by the St. Louis Blues, and they do. They do kill it off. But at 4:17, St. Louis actually gets on the board. So after the kill, McGing wires one far corner from in close. The assist to Fabry and Broberg. So Fabry gets on the board in his first game back with the Blues. That's a feel-good story. Although at 8:38, it becomes less feel-good when O'Reilly scores from Evangelista. At 11:41, Forsberg scores from Evangelista and Shea, and the route is on. Seconds later, at 12:06, Stamkos gets the hat trick. Blankenberg and Svechkov with the assists. There were hats everywhere. St. Louis does seem to use that time to, fix things. 13:56, they do score. I guess that's as close as you get to fixing things when you're that far behind. Thomas scores from Broberg and Neighbors. Then at 15:33, Nashville gets that back. Stamkos with his 4th of the game. The assist to Wood and Yossi. And he had other opportunities, too. He could have had 5 or 6 tonight. Then we had a fight between Tucker and McCarron. I thought McCarron won that, so even the fights ended up being lost by St. Louis tonight. At any rate, it's 6-2 through 2 periods of play. I really thought I'd need an 80s magnet for this game. However, in the third period, the one goal is scored at 7:36. Bunting on the power play from Evangelista and Blankenberg, and it's a net feed that's chipped in by Bunting to make it 7-2. That's your final. So it's not an 80s magnet, but it's a no mercy magnet. Nashville, no mercies. The St. Louis Blues. Your 3 stars are Stamkos, Evangelista, and Wood. Shots on net, 12-9 Nashville in the first, 13-9 Nashville in the second, 8-7 St. Louis in the third. Final shots, 32-26 in favor of Nashville. Power play, St. Louis 0 for 3, Nashville 1 for 4. The hits, 27-14 for St. Louis. Binnington saved 19 out of 25. He was replaced in the third. Hofer saved 6 out of 7 in relief. Saros saves 24 out of 26 at the other end. All right, next up, The Dallas Stars and the Minnesota Wild. Ottinger versus Gustafsson. The shots were 4-0 Minnesota at 5.5 minutes, but at 9:32 on what was their first shot on net, during the power play, Dallas scores. Robertson gets this one from Heiskanen and Johnston. The problem is that's Dallas's only power play of the night. Minnesota would get it back at 16:10. Eriksson Ek buries a rebound from the doorstep. Boldy with the assist. We have a 1-1 tie. That's your score through 20 minutes. In the second period, just to pass the halfway mark, during a power play for Minnesota, Dallas scores. Heiskanen scores from Lindell and Fox at 10:19, and then more importantly, Dallas finishes the kill, so they have the 2-1 lead. The Stars score again, but they're offside, so that one comes off the board. And then at 17:30, Bogosian, it's a point shot on a face-off win. He buries it. The assist to Buium and Tarasenko. We have ourselves a 2-2 tie. That's your score through 40 minutes. In the third period, it starts with 1 minute and 45 seconds left in a power play for Minnesota. Dallas does kill that off, but at 8 minutes and 40 seconds, it's a cross-crease pass and in on a face-off win. Johansson scores this one from Boldy and Eriksson Ek. So that's 2 goals pretty quickly after face-off wins by Minnesota, and they're up 3-2, their first lead of the game. Then there's a couple empty netters starting at 18 minutes and 29 seconds. Boldy scores from Kaprizov. Hintz took a puck to the foot. He needed some help getting off the ice. Not great. Not great at that stage of the game to see one of your best players getting hurt. Hope it's not too bad. Then at 19:10, after the goalie's been pulled again, Johansson hits the empty net. The assist to Tarasenko. So the final score in this one, 5-2 for the Minnesota Wild. 3 stars are Boldy, Eriksson Ek, and Johansson. Shots on net, 14-5 Minnesota in the first, 12-4 Minnesota in the second, 9-6 Dallas in the third. Final shots, 32-18 for Minnesota. Power plays 1-for-1 for Dallas and 0-for-3 for Minnesota. The hits 26-12 for the Minnesota Wild. Ottinger saves 27 out of 30. He was good. So was Gustafsson, 16 saves on 18 shots. All right, next up, Boston and Winnipeg. Korpisalo versus Comrie. We then had a fight between Kastelik and Schenn 3 seconds into the game. Look, whatever Winnipeg's trying to do to get on track, you got to try everything. At any rate, 5:59 in, Winnipeg does score first. It's Morgan Barron from Morrissey and Koepke. Barron's one of my favorite fourth liners in the NHL. But Boston would answer at 8:24. Pasternak, it's past the screen and in on the power play. The assist to McAvoy and Geekie. Boston then goes back to the power play, and they score on this one as well. At 10:28, it is Eyssimont from Lowry and Hampus Lindholm. He scores on a rebound there. Eyssimont continues to play pretty darn well for Boston. It's 2-1 at that point. Boston didn't get a power play the rest of the game. Then at 11:07, Boston adds another. Corrali, another one I said in the previews, due for a goal. He has a backhand on a net drive that makes it 3-1 in favor of the Boston Bruins. But before the period's out, Winnipeg would answer. At 13:37, Iafallo goes short side on a net drive. The assist to DeMello and Sandberg, so that makes the score 3-2. That's your score through 1 period of play. There were 43 seconds left in the Jets' power play to start the second period. Boston kills that off. Late in the period at 14:36, Hampus Lindholm makes it 4-2. Pasternak and Geekie with the assists. The Winnipeg Jets would then get a power play, and they score on it. At 17:46, it's Velarde from Perfetti and Connor, so that makes it 4-3 score in favor of Boston. That remains your score through 2 periods of play. In the third, it stays 4-3 for quite a while, but at 14:43, Elias Lindholm on a pass from behind the net makes it 5-3. Pasternak and Zadorov with the assists. So you got to pull the goaltender, and at 18:04, Pasternak hits the empty net, his second goal of the game. He scored the first goal for Boston and the final goal for Boston, and they score to make it 6-3, which is the final score in this one. 3 stars are Pasternak, Geekie, and Iafallo. Shots on net, 13-7 Winnipeg in the first, 11-9 Winnipeg in the second, 8-5 Boston in the third. Final shots, 29-24 for the Jets. Power plays, Boston scored on both of theirs. Winnipeg went 1-for-4. The hits, 24-21 Winnipeg. Korpisalo, 26 saves on 29 shots. Comrie, 18 saves on 23 shots. Is Hellebuck back soon? That's the hope, I would think, for Winnipeg. Now we'll go to the third board. All right, Detroit and Edmonton. Talbot versus Skinner. So Cam Talbot, former Oiler. The shots are 4-2 in favor of Detroit at the half, but Edmonton had a better second half than first half. And at 14:25 on the power play, Zach Hyman scores the assist to McDavid and Draisaitl. Hyman's playing really well right now, and it's 1-0 for Edmonton through the first period. Early in the second period, they do score again, do those Oilers at 2:46. It's a one-timer pass to screen by Matthias Ekholm, the assist to McDavid and Nugent Hopkins. So McDavid started scoring pretty darn well recently. He's moving up that score sheet, or scoring list. Then at 5:41, Detroit does get on the board. Edvinsson scores one from the slot via a 3-on-2 rush. Danielson and Soderblom with the assists, and so it's 2-1. Then at 17:48, so late in the period again, Edmonton score one. Hyman on a between-the-legs pass from behind the net from McDavid, at least from behind the goal line. Just what is that pass? And then the other assist to Nurse. So how do you defend that pass? How do you anticipate that pass? Just fantastic, and Hyman's the beneficiary. He gets the second goal of the game. We have ourselves a 3-1 lead for the Oilers, and that's your score through two. In the third, with 1:28 left, or no, there was 1:28 left in an Oilers power play to start the third period. I've got to change the way I phrase that on these boards going forward. The goalie pull happens with more than 3 minutes left. The Wings called a timeout with 1:36 left. They just couldn't figure this out. Then at 18:43, it's an empty netter. Hyman scores, so all the hats are on the ice because that's the hat trick goal for him. The assist to McDavid and Draisaitl, and that makes the score 4-1. That's your final in favor of the Edmonton Oilers. Your 3 stars are Hyman, McDavid, and Skinner. Another good game for Skinner. Shots on net, 7 apiece in the first, 59 Edmonton in the second, 12-7 Detroit in the third. Final shots 29-28 for the Oilers. Power plays Detroit 0 for 2, Edmonton 1 for 2. The hits 25-9 for Edmonton. Talbot saves 25 out of 28. Skinner saved 27 out of 28 at the other end. All right. Let's talk about Florida and Colorado. And I'm going to come at this a little bit different. When I saw it was Tarasov and Blackwood, here's what I figured. You're Paul Maurice. You've got back-to-back games in Utah and Colorado. You put in Bobrovsky against Utah because you know you probably aren't going to have as much of a chance of winning on the second half of a back-to-back in Denver. I think it's a smart move. It is not meant to be an insult to Colorado. It is meant to say, hey, we probably aren't going to win that second half of that back-to-back. That's how I viewed it. And at 1:14... it's a one-timer 5-hole from a distance, Malinsky from Natchez and McKinnon, and right away I was like, so this could be a long night. However, at 7:21, Gregor answers for Florida the assist to Jones, and that was only the second shot on net for Florida. The Avalanche had 10. Now, the shots start evening up after that, and they're getting closer and closer, but at 18:30, Nelson buries one from the doorstep, Nichushkin and Makar with the assists. Colorado had opportunities after that, too. They had 20 shots in that first period, and they were up 2-1 after one. Second period, 5:05 in, Brindley buries a rebound via a 2-on-1 rush. Burns and Manson with the assists. Then at 7:18, it's a point shot pass to screen. McKinnon scores from Gerard and Malinsky. So it's 4-1. The rout is on. Florida clearly just did not have it tonight. It's not an insult to Colorado to say it. I'm just saying because I saw Ray Ferraro answering a fan on the formerly known as Twitter, now known as X. And I didn't think that it was an excuse to say this is the second half of a back-to-back, the backup goalie's in, and Colorado is Colorado. So I don't think it's an insult to say, yeah, Florida was basically done when the puck was dropped to start the night. At 12:31, Lehkonen scores from Brindley and Taves to make it 5-1. The Avs score, but it's an offside call. It's in the final minute, so at least offside challenge takes it off the board, and it's 5-1. So instead of 6-1, but it stays 5-1 through two. Third period, the Panthers score, but it's in off the inside of the skate, the instep, so they call it a kick. Keep an eye on that. That seems to be more and more of a thing. After the review, it's no goal. And it was league initiated. It wasn't even challenged by the Avalanche. Then at 6:18, the Avalanche had a goal. Landeskog deposits a rebound in the net. Natchez and Manson with the assists. It's 6-1. Florida then does their bit to avoid the no mercy magnet at 13:08. Samoskevich buries a net feed from Greer. Greer's hurt on the play. He didn't finish the game. Rodriguez with the other assist on that one, so that makes it 6-2. McKinnon got a penalty shot. Tarasov saved it. So McKinnon wanted the no mercy magnet. Tarasov saved it. And your final score is 6-2. Needs to be a 5-goal difference for no mercy. Your 3 stars are Brindley, McKinnon, and Nelson. Shots on net, 20-12 for Colorado in the first, 14-8 Colorado in the second, and 8-5 Colorado in the third. Final shots are 42-25 for the Avalanche. Power plays 0 for 2 for Florida, 0 for 3 for Colorado. The hits 28-11 for Florida. Tarasov 36 saves on 42 shots. Blackwood 23 saves on 25 shots. And as I keep saying, and I'll say it again here, Either the Avalanche are going to have this ridiculous run, they're going to go through, they're going to win the Stanley Cup, it's going to be the most amazing season a team's ever had, or they're going to lose in the playoffs, and they'll be the latest example of a President's Trophy winner that just can't quite get over the hump. And that's how it seems to be trending. All right, last game to review is Buffalo and Vancouver, and boy was I excited. The interesting thing is I had the whole standings figured out because neither Buffalo nor Vancouver was climbing out of last place in their conference tonight. So, battle of last place. We could call this the McKenna Bowl, as it were. And for Gavin McKenna, he's probably thinking, aren't those the 1970 expansion teams? Don't I want to avoid them? So it's Lyon versus Demko, and 7:34 in. Rasmus Dahlin opens the scoring. He was left alone in front of the net. So it was nice of the Canucks to do that. Give him some confidence. The assist to McLeod and Quinn. Then late in the period at 19:49, it's a power play goal. Sherwood backhands a rebound into the net. Garland and Hughes with the assists. So Sherwood's first goal in 11 games. Now it's going to require multiple firsts to get him out of Vancouver. So it's 1-1 after the first. Second period, 6:15 in, and I don't want to say the name this way, but now even the announcer in Vancouver is saying it this way. So Sasson, Max Sasson, it's weird. It's Sasson. DeBrusk and Elias Pettersson with the assists. Pettersson, number 40, was not in the lineup for the Canucks tonight. So that is Elias Pettersson, the defenseman. That's at 6:15. Makes it a 2-1 lead for Vancouver. And then at 9:12, Tage Thompson, he's got such a heck of a shot. It's a point shot, wrister, blocker side. I can't blame Demko on that one. That's just a fantastic shot. The assist to Dahlin. And then later on in the period, Buffalo gets power play, and they score on it at 14:46. Benson with a one-timer from the slot. It's his first goal in 35 games. You're welcome, Zach Benson. The assist to Doan and Thompson. It's just the Canucks this year keep playing the hits. First off, they're always losing, but they're always working hard, so it's not that hard to watch for me personally. And every time somebody comes in who is on a losing streak, you know they're going to turn that around. And if somebody comes in and has been forever since they had a goal, they're probably going to get a goal. In the third period, with 1:13, there's 1:13 left in the Canucks power play. Definitely need to change how I'm phrasing that. To start the third period, the Buffalo Sabres killed that off. So there were two periods, first and second, where Canucks had a power play in the final minute. They just couldn't score on the one that straddled the second and third. The ref is told that he sucks about halfway through the period. The goalie pull happens with 2 minutes and 10 seconds left. Vancouver just can't manage it. 3-2 win for Buffalo. It's one of the few times where we're watching this year, I'm like, man, they're not going to tie it. So, yeah. 3 stars are Dahlin, Thompson, and Sasson. I had no doubt that Vancouver could not do what everybody else does, and that's tie games in the final seconds. Shots on net. 12-7 Vancouver in the first, 8-6 Vancouver in the second, 11-2 Vancouver in the third. Yeah, they outshot them 31-15. So the power plays, 1 for 3 for Vancouver, 1 for 2 for Buffalo. The hits, 22-13 for Vancouver. Lions saved 29 out of 31. He looked pretty good. Demko, 12 saves on 15 shots. But that's the thing. The Canucks now are that team again that they make goalies look good. So you want your goaltender save percentage to go up? Play against Vancouver. All right. And these are the kinds of jokes I couldn't make in previous seasons, but I feel like now that they're dead last in the NHL, I can. And Canuck fans probably won't be that upset. All right, let's go to the standings. All right. Tampa's back in first in the Atlantic. 31 games, 18-11-2 record, 38 points. They're 6-4 in their last 10. Boston is back in second place, 19-13. Boston's record started looking pretty good. 38 points in 32 games. They're 7-3 in their last 10 games. I did hear the Winnipeg, I think Kevin Sawyer said Boston's an elite team. I don't know if I go to elite yet, but they're definitely really good. Marco Sturm has to be in the mix for Coach of the Year if they keep this up. Detroit drops to third in the division, 32 games, 17-12-3 record, 37 points, 4-4-2 in their last 10. Carolina's now first in the Metro, 30 games, 19-9-2 record, 40 points in 30 games, 6-4 in their last 10 games. With the loss tonight, Washington 18-9-4, 40 points in 31 games. They're 7-1-2 in their last 10. The Islanders with the win tonight, 18-11-3, 39 points in 32 games, so they're 1 point out of first. They're 6-3-1 in their last 10. The number one wild card is Philly. 29 games, 16-9-4 record, 36 points, so they're only 4 points out of first. And Pittsburgh with the loss tonight, 14-8-7. They're the number two wild card, 35 points, 4-3-3 in their last 10 games. Just outside the playoffs, Montreal, 30 games, 16-11-3 record, 35 points. They're 6-4 in their last 10. New Jersey, 17-13-1, 35 points in 31 games, 4-6 in their last 10 now. I don't know if it's panic time in New Jersey, but it feels like it likely is. I think it was on my last panic index. Probably will be on the next one. The Rangers, 32 games, 15-13-4 record, 34 points, 5-3-2 in their last 10. They did not play tonight. You're right. Toronto, 30 games, 14-11-5 record, 33 points in 30 games. They're 5-2-3 in their last 10. Florida, 15-13-2, 32 points in 30 games. They're 4-5-1 in their last 10. I didn't move them down on the power rankings with that loss to Colorado. Anybody loses to Colorado, I don't move them down because it's Colorado. Of course they're going to lose. Ottawa, 30 games, 14-12-4 record, 32 points. They're 4-6 in their last 10. The Columbus Blue Jackets continue to fall. 13-12-6 record, 32 points in 31 games. And don't look now, but they may end up behind Buffalo. Buffalo, while Columbus is 2-4-4 in their last 10, Buffalo's 5-5 in their last 10. They're now 13-14-4, 30 points in 31 games. So, yeah, Buffalo may very well end up passing Columbus if Columbus can't figure this out. Of course, out west, it's all Colorado all the time. 31 games, 22-2-7 record, 51 points, 7-1-2 record in their last 10. I'm not sure why. There's, and I've seen this on the channel. I've seen this now online from people too. Nobody's trying to diminish what Colorado's doing. Nobody's trying to diminish it, but once a team's won so many games in a row, it kind of gets boring, for lack of a better way of putting it. Like, it's just kind of, yeah, they won again, then they won again. It's not, yay, because it's December. So, like, it's only 30 games into an 82-game schedule. So it's not, you can't maintain that energy. I know they can, but just as a fan, just watching it, just, I don't know, it kind of gets boring. Kind of want to talk about something else. It's not trying to diminish it. It's just, we've talked about it. Dallas, 21-6-5 with the loss tonight, 47 points in 32 games, so they fall 4 points off the pace. Minnesota with the win tonight, they pull within 8 points of the Dallas Stars, 17-9-5 record, 39 points in 31 games, and they're 7-2-1 in their last 10. So Dallas 8-1-1. They got their first regulation loss. I think it was 32 games, and obviously that breaks their road point streak at 13 games. The Pacific, Vegas is first. There you go. Vegas hasn't even played all that great yet. They're 15-6-9, 39 points in 30 games. All 30 of their games have gone to overtime, it seems. 5-2-3 record over their last 10 games. Anaheim, 31 games, 19-11-1, 39 points in 31 games. Didn't even take the ice tonight, and they lost first place. The LA Kings, 30 games, didn't take the ice. They keep third. 14-8-8 record, 36 points, 4-2-4 in their last 10. The Oilers are still the number one wild card, 31 games, 14-11-6 record, 34 points. Or no, they were the number 2 wild card coming into today. Now they're the number 1 wild card. They're 5-3-2 in their last 10. They definitely seem to be figuring it out. San Jose, 15-14-3, 33 points in 32 games, and 5-5 in their last 10. Just below the playoff line, Chicago's out there again. 30 games, 13-11-6, 32 points in 30 games, 3-5-2 in their last 10. Utah also didn't play tonight, same as Chicago, 14-15-3, 31 points in 32 games. They're 3-7 in their last 10. Seattle also didn't play tonight, 12-10-6 record, 30 points in 28 games, 3-6-1. And here's the thing, Winnipeg is now below 500, 14-15-1, 29 points in 30 games, 2-7-1 in their last 10. It just keeps getting uglier for Winnipeg. St. Louis, 11-14-7, 29 points in 32 games. They're now 4-5-1 in their last 10. Don't look now. Nashville, 12-14-4, 28 points in 30 games. They're 6-4 in their last 10. They're only 5 points back of a playoff spot, and they got a couple games in hand on the team they're chasing for that. Calgary, 12-16-4, obviously didn't play tonight either. 28 points in 32 games, 6-3-1 in their last 10. And the Canucks, 11-17-3, 25 points in 31 games, 2-7-1 record in their last 10. And I will just say to the Canuck fans, just, look for the bright spots with the Canucks at this point. And there was an article today from Thomas Drance that kind of echoed what I've been saying recently, that I don't know if they're going to go through this process of trading out big names. I don't know how much I trust the people that are running the team right now to do it. But a whole other discussion for a whole other time. Maybe I'll do a video tomorrow where I talk about front offices and the amount of confidence I have in each front office, and we'll see which ones surprise people. At any rate, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. As always, hit like and subscribe in the event you may not have done so already. Thank you guys so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.